Hello and welcome to another episode of Philly's Soccer Show. This is Brotherly Love FC. I'm Chris O'Connell. We got a lot to get to today. Joining me as always, Tom Loudon. Hey, Tom.
What's going on, Chris? Yeah, things are happening in a lot of different aspects of soccer, and we have a lot to talk about today.
There's some stuff happening. The U.S. men's team is actually in town. If they're watching and you guys want to come on the show, just let us know. We're going to get to that. A little World Cup, Union. So we do have a couple of great guests today, but first let's get to some of those big stories. First up, the Union. We now know who they will be playing in their next playoff game.
Absolutely. So we still got to wait because of the international break right now, hence the men's national team here. But it's Sunday, November 23rd at home at 7:45 against New York City. New York City knocked out Charlotte in their best of three to advance. One interesting note about New York City, their goalkeeper, Matt Freese, is a local kid who played for the Union, grew up in Wayne, went to Episcopal. So he's the goalie for that team. So that game will be that Sunday night. You have Eagles-Cowboys earlier in the day, then you head over to Subaru for a little Union playoff action.
Yeah, this is the longest break between playoff games I've ever heard.
In the history of all sports anywhere.
Yeah, we're still 10 days away.
I know, it's a long break, and it's like we talked about last week. It's tough, but I guess everybody's got to deal with it, so they'll figure it out.
You wonder how the players will respond. And the weather's getting colder, too.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the World Cup. We are getting closer to kind of a big day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see all the key dates there, but the big one coming up is December 5th, which was the draw. We'll find out the groups, what teams the U.S. will be matched up against, all the different groups, and who has a tough draw, who has an easy path to the next round. That's going to be a huge day coming up. Now, one interesting thing about that is the U.S. obviously was an automatic qualifier. They didn't have to go through the process because they're a host, just like Mexico and Canada. Layman, you think, oh, that's great. Last night on Mike, we had Carli Lloyd in, and she actually has a different opinion. She goes, that might be a disadvantage. Listen to this.
Pressure. It's also hard. It's hard to not go through a qualifying stage because that's really where you learn a lot about your team and you grow together. So they don't have that. They're coming to play here in Chester.
Yeah.
They've got two friendlies coming up, and then there's only one window in March of next year before they play their first game in the World Cup.
Oh wow! Oh, that's a disadvantage.
Yes.
Automatic qualification.
It's a little bit more challenging, but I think.
So, as she alluded to, U.S. men having a friendly this Saturday night, 5 o'clock at Subaru Park.
Yep, they have
Paraguay, right?
This one, and they have one more in this window. And as Carli also pointed out later in that interview, there's only one more international session or time period in March. So the men's national team doesn't have a lot of games or a lot of high-impact games to get ready for this. So it's a little bit of something that they have to deal with.
Yeah, blessing or kind of a curse, whether they're qualifying. All right, our first guest, one of the most connected soccer minds in the Philadelphia area, the finger on the pulse of the beautiful game, Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer Association CEO Chris Branscome, back on the show. You're our first dual guest. The second time you've been in here.
What an honor.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. It's great to be back.
Yeah, thanks again for coming in. We want to get to the World Cup. First of all, let's start with that. You are connected to tons of youth soccer organizations throughout our area, but you're also really connected to what's coming here in June. Give us a taste, first of all, how you're involved.
Well, yeah, I guess the quick version of the story, I was involved from day one with the folks at the Convention and Visitors Bureau when they announced that the U.S. would put a bid in. So that goes back to 2017. That carried into the rest of the bid process up until we were announced in 22 and working with the rest of the people at Philadelphia Soccer 2026. And I've just been advising and filling in the gaps on different things over the years and making sure we're making all those connections to the soccer community as well as the rest of the business community and just fans in general.
So one of the things we were talking about before we went on was getting the message out about what's coming. And I don't really think people get the grasp. If you were to have to give like a quick synopsis of what people should expect, what's coming here?
Well, one of the lines we've all been using for the last year or two is that we're going to have 6 Super Bowls in a 3-week period, right? So that's 6 games. It's going to be a packed stadium every time. 500,000 visitors coming into the city, maybe more, from all over the world. So, of course, once we find out what countries are coming, that's going to give us, a little more the complexion of what this is going to be. But as far as what international fans are like, how they react. We saw a little bit of that during the Club World Cup, but multiply that by at least 10, right? We just saw little bits and pieces of some of the great fan activity from the Brazilians and some of the European teams, African teams. But when you get the full force of a country, like Scotland and Holland or Italy, Argentina, England, Germany, right, you're going to see 10,000 fans gather in Love Park to march to the stadium or to the train station. And that's going to be exciting to someone like me because I know that's what they're doing. It might look very scary to somebody else. 10,000 Scottish people look like it's Braveheart coming at you, you know. But they're there to have a good time, and they're 100% behind their teams, and they're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to spend a lot of money. They're going to eat and drink. Lots of cheesesteaks and Yinglings and things like that are going to go down. But I want to make sure that we also have a lot of good, wholesome stuff. And I know the Fan Festival at Lemon Hill.
Yeah, it's not just about soccer.
Correct.
It is a couple weeks of events all over the city. Can you talk about that a little bit? About it's not just about what's on the pitch.
Well, I think that just dovetails with all the excitement of everything in Philadelphia during the summer. So, Wawa Welcome America is going to be going on at the same time, and that's going to be woven into the fabric of the World Cup. And of course, this is going to be the greatest Independence Day celebration around the country, and we have a game that day. So again, all these visitors coming to see all the things that we know about Philadelphia and see all the good historical sites, museums, and so forth. For us at Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer, we're going to try to weave in some of the fun for the families and the kids, that maybe we have some good activities at the Fan Festival and other things we're planning around the state as well for everybody that can't make it down here.
Yeah, you're spreading the wealth a little bit. It is that big of an event.
Yeah, I mean, look, we only get a World Cup once every 4 years, and really a World Cup in your backyard maybe once in a lifetime. You know, we had it in '94, but it wasn't here in Philadelphia, and we know all the great things it did for the sport. But it's right here. So we got to take full advantage of this. And for all the people in our area of, Eastern PA, which we're, Maryland up to New York and New Jersey out to, the middle of the state. We're a very large organization. We have a lot of people in a lot of towns. So I'm concerned that the people in Allentown, Reading, Lancaster, Williamsport, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, every little town in between gets the same experience, because we know they're not all going to get tickets. We want them to get down here and experience the city and the atmosphere, but what are they going to do all the other times and all the other games? So we're going to try to give them opportunities and build a toolkit for them, do some events of our own, working with US Soccer as well on some of that. We've got this really incredible opportunity in front of us to really put our sport, up on the pedestal. I think it's always deserved.
So now you're with the Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer Association. Quickly tell people how many teams and players are involved in that, and also speaking of the World Cup, what kind of impact do you expect, hope for that to have? Not even immediately. Obviously, immediately it's going to be all the hubbub, but as we go on from years beyond.
Right. So Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer, it's the governing body of the sport in the club space. Right. We don't have scholastic sports in our purview, but we're a member of the U.S. Soccer Federation. We're their arm here in Eastern Pennsylvania. So we do everything from sanctioning all the games and tournaments and leagues. We do coaching education, referee training, exciting stuff like appeals and discipline and insurance. So we cover all the bases of what it needs to run the sport. We have about 375 member organizations and over 120,000 registered kids playing, which makes us the fourth largest of the state associations in the country. We also have a very long history. As the last time I was here, we talked about, we've had a lot of clubs win national championships. A lot of our players have gone on to do great things. You talked a little bit about that a few seconds ago. In fact, we were talking to Austin Trusty this morning, who played in our Olympic development program, and he's gone on to do, very great things. And so we're very proud of the things that we do, and we have our work cut out for us this summer.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I know some of that development is with the union. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, maybe get a little bit more into the World Cup as we continue. Exciting stuff. Don't go away. We got more Philly soccer on Brotherly Love FC coming back after the break. Welcome back to Brotherly Love FC. We want to throw some love out to the St. Hubert's girls soccer team. St. Hubert's won the Philadelphia Catholic League Championship. Our Bob Kelly had a chance to catch up with the team and talk a little World Cup.
Hey everybody, we're here at St. Hubert's Catholic High School in Northeast Philadelphia, home of the Philadelphia Catholic League champions! They got the hardwood hair. I love it. All right, so of course, all eyes will be on Philadelphia next year with the soccer coming to town. Going to be playing down at the link. So I want to go down the line and ask our soccer players here what team or player they would like to see most come to Philadelphia. Now, go down the line. Go ahead. Who?
Messi.
Messi. Okay.
Messi.
Messi.
France.
Okay.
Ronaldo.
Okay. Oh,
Messi.
Ronaldo. Okay. All right.
Messi.
Messi.
Argentina.
All right.
Messi.
Messi.
Christian Pulisic.
Okay.
Argentina.
Okay.
Ronaldo.
Okay.
France.
Okay.
Spain and Lamine Yamal.
Oh, all right. Come on over here.
Argentina.
Argentina.
Brazil.
Okay.
Neymar. Brazil. Argentina. Brazil. Argentina. Brazil. Argentina. Argentina. Brazil. England and soccer.
All right, there we go. You heard it from the soccer champions, the 2025 Philadelphia Catholic League champions, the St. Hubert Bambies.
Congratulations to the Bandies. All right, we are back now, Brotherly Love FC. Chris Branscome still joining us with the Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer Association. Chris, I know development, huge part of what you do. You have a partnership with the union, correct? Can you talk about that a little bit and how you've done that for years?
Yeah, we've been partners with the union since their inception. We've done a lot of things, a lot of marketing, promotional opportunities. And we've both grown over the last 15 or 16 years in different ways to grow the game, get more kids involved, and it's really been a good partnership.
Growing the game, I know that's kind of what you want to do. Have you seen it grow with the union, with announcements like the World Cup coming here? How do you, because there seems to be that kind of drop-off. How do you kind of get ahead of that drop-off from the U12, U14 when they stop playing the game? How do you continue that?
Oh, good. You're giving me an easy question. So, yeah, the biggest challenge for us right now is to take advantage of this moment, right? So, yeah, growing the game's not just a catchphrase for us. It's really what we do. It's part of our mission. Is U.S. Soccer says they want to be the preeminent sport in the United States, which is a tall task. But it's our job locally as the boots on the ground to make that happen. So giving the tools to all of our clubs and to inspire a lot of kids and adults to offer more programs and opportunities. So what having the union around does, it gives them that professional aspiration, right? You get to see professional athletes on TV and kids want to emulate that. And for the longest time, they didn't have that here in Philadelphia. So that's been very important. And their success makes it even nicer because everyone loves the winner.
Something to cheer for.
Yeah, and the last time I was here, Alejandro Bedoya was on, and he's a credit to the community and the team. So kids gravitate towards people like him.
And part of that, talking about the World Cup coming, they're installing mini pitches. They're trying to grow the legacy of the game, not just after the event leaves. They're trying to leave something behind. Is that imperative, especially in some of these underserved communities where, that's where they're putting these pitches? That's where they're trying to grow the game.
Yeah, it's super important. And Eastern Pennsylvania, along with the union and the city, we did a program a few years back, and we were able to put 5 different mini pitches in around the city. Through Philadelphia Soccer 26, where we're working with the U.S. Soccer Foundation, and we're putting a number of mini pitches in, not just in Philadelphia, but throughout the state. We are in desperate need of more and better fields, whether it's in the city or in the suburbs or throughout all of Pennsylvania. You have to have good, safe spaces to play for the kids. And even an initiative that we're working on is just put more goals on the fields, right? More goals, more opportunity. The game's evolved that we play small-sided games, so the younger players obviously need smaller fields, smaller goals. That costs money. So that's one of the efforts. But at the end of the day, the legacy of the World Cup is critical, and I'm really concerned how things look 4 years from now, 8 years from now. That's when I'll know we did the
That'll
right
be the
things.
measuring stick.
Exactly.
When you're talking about the growth, and it seems obvious to say, but how important is it, especially that 12 to 14 year range, to make sure kids are still having fun? Because going through it with my kids, there's a borderline there because people want to be intense, they want to be that, but then you see kids who are just not having fun with it anymore, and I think we lose kids that way too.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's one of the things we have to address probably in all of youth sports is we become too professionalized. We make it much more difficult for kids to have fun. There's a drain on the parents financially because it's incredibly expensive when it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. And there's this drive to everyone's going to be a college athlete and get scholarships. There's a lot of mythology behind that as well that the NCAA tries to dispel that. But at the end of the day, you play a game because you want to have fun. I played well into my 50s, and if my knees held up, it still would have been more fun. But I want all kids to have that kind of love of the game and experience. Play it until you can't, and when you can't, stay involved some other way. Be a coach, be a referee, be a team administrator, or just be a fan. There's a lot that goes into that, right? We need fans at the games, and we keep building that. And the line I use all the time is player development is fan development. If we do our job right with the kids at a young age, they will become fans of the game for life. Doesn't matter what their playing experience continues to be. And I think that's what we really have to drive home through the World Cup and after.
All right, Chris Branscome, thank you so much again for coming in. We really appreciate it. We got your number now.
My pleasure.
You'll come back?
Yeah, a permanent seat here.
Yeah, permanent seat. We'll put a
absolutely.
little brass tack right there, for not a tack, but you know what I mean. Plaque for you. All right, we'll be back with another influential person in the youth game, former pro player Julie King, right here on deck on Brotherly Love FC. Don't go away. Welcome back to Brotherly Love FC. Of course, every week on the show, we like to show your highlights. And Tom, we have our first college highlight to share. What
Absolutely.
do we got?
You've asked for it, so we got one from Thomas Jefferson University. This is Jamie Webb sent this in. Check out Jamie going down the wing here. Nice shot over the goalie from distance. Well done.
Nice.
So that's a goal. Great job by Jamie, and thank you so much for sending the clips. Don't forget, everybody, from the youngest up to college, send in your highlights. We'll put them on the show. You can follow us on Instagram at brotherly_lovefc.
Nice.
We've had some sporting AC highlights on here before. Which leads us to our next guest.
Yeah, our next guest has played at the highest levels, now dedicates her time to developing young soccer talent. We are thrilled to welcome Julie King, former professional player, now a girls academy director at Sporting Athletic Club in Delaware. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's
to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Let's first of all start with you. Give us a little background on your. I know you had a prolific college career and professional career. Give us your little resume.
All right, I'll give you the rundown here. So I went to school at Auburn University. I played soccer there for 4 years. After my senior year, I didn't get drafted. I reached out to some clubs, and that was actually the year that the league folded, the former professional women's league in the United States. So basically just showed up to a preseason, got into a preseason, and got my foot in the door in that interim year. Did a season with the Boston Breakers, came back to finish my degree at Auburn, played a 5th year of basketball, and then went back and played pro and hung with it for 9 seasons, and then here I am.
Dual
coaching
sport
now.
athlete.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. It's definitely a big part of my journey. I learned a lot.
First of all, basketball and soccer. What do you like about either of them?
I mean, always the competitiveness, just
Yeah.
the competition. All growing up, I still to this day, I'm like, soccer my favorite sport or basketball my favorite sport? I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And really, I think in reflection, now that I've become a coach too, what has driven me was the competition always. So put me on a basketball court, put me on a soccer pitch, I'm ready to go.
How important? I saw the dual sport thing. I love that. How important was that for you? Because it's harder and harder for kids to do it now for a lot of reasons. But I think there's such a benefit to that just by doing different things.
Yeah, it definitely paid off for me. That's easy for me to say. I think that cross-training for kids is really important, especially now that we're on turf so much more. with soccer. It's just harder on their bodies. So getting some different movements, different types of athletic movements. I think basketball helped me also with just angles of the game, things like that. But my parents were always very much encouraging me to just follow whatever I wanted to follow. They never pushed me one way or the other. They guided, but I think that's the main part, is just listening to what the kids want to do and letting them do it. 10-year-olds don't know if they're going to be pros. We can help guide them, but the reality is it's very rare.
What do you tell parents? You've been on both sides of it, player, now coach. What do you tell parents who are either just getting into their child into the game or want to get to that next level? What age group are you coaching, and what are you telling parents in terms of expectations of the game?
Yeah, the age groups that I'm overseeing are 13 to 19. I have the 16s and 17s that I coach. But at Sporting, we just started 5 years ago, so there's still some of that startup mentality, so it's really all hands on deck. As far as a parent starting early on, like I just said, listen to your kids, and that stays for the rest of the time. I think when they're young, just getting them out there and making sure that they enjoy it, trying to make sure they enjoy it, and if they do, continuing to provide opportunities for that. As they get older, my suggestions to parents would be focus on what they're gaining as a person out of the game, so guiding them on, their effort, how they treat their teammates, their character, their commitment, showing up to things, showing up on time to things.
Things you can control.
Exactly. And that's a big thing that my girls hear me say all the time. Focus on the controllables. Don't worry about the rest. Focus on the controllables, and then we should all be okay. And that would be the biggest advice for parents, is listen to your kids. If they're having fun, let them keep having fun. And don't focus so much on the X's and O's of the game. Focus more on the building of the person and what they're gaining as a person from their participation in the game.
What is the biggest differences you've seen from when obviously you play at the highest level, but I'm guessing things have changed a ton even from then, from when you played. What's the biggest differences? And even if pro or con, if you think, I wish it could be back like it was because this isn't bet for the best.
In terms of like the actual
game, the player, the process of what their schedule looks like all the time, everything.
Yeah.
It seems like it's changed.
It does. In terms of the schedule, honestly, I don't know that we're ever going to change it. I think it might just be the nature of the beast, but it is a lot, and it's put on parents and the kids really to be able to navigate that. And I would say for parents to get into doing some research on periodization and what's good for their bodies, and cross training, use resources, talk to physical therapists, ask your doctor, because it's going to be different for every kid. But I don't think that's going to change. I don't think the amount that's out there is going to change.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Philadelphia is trying to get a women's professional soccer team. How realistic do you think that is? And do you think, how good would that be for our area?
I think it's absolutely realistic. In the last 2 years or so, I just saw another one just the other day. The clubs are popping up, coming out next year, the year after, 2028. I think Philly's got a great opportunity. It's a hotbed for soccer, and the World Cup is definitely going to push that. I'm super excited to see what the World Cup does to fans in Philly, and I would love an NWSL team to come here.
In terms of the World Cup, take the U.S. out of it, what team would you most want to see come here that you can go say?
I'm going to say Argentina. Yeah. I mean, I want to see him play. I want to see Messi out there. I think in terms of like the fans, that would be just so incredible for fans to be able to see those top players from South America competing. Really just like any country competing in the World Cup, anybody or any fans that can go to any games, any country, U.S., otherwise, take the opportunity if you can. Witnessing the game in that environment, there's nothing else like it.
Fine. Last question. What are you going to be doing during the World Cup? Are you going to be watching? Are you going to try to participate? What's your plan in June?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be watching. I'll be watching all of the games. I would love to go to a game. We'll see if that pans out. Hopefully, we're able to get some tickets, us normal people out here. I hope that FIFA can figure out what to do about that. But yeah, I would love to go to a game. I'll definitely be watching all the games. I'll be promoting it with our players. We'll probably do some events with Sporting, maybe do some club events where everybody can participate and watch the game, maybe on a big screen or something like that, maybe at the field house. I'm sure there'll be some things coming down for Sporting and the World Cup in the summer.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I told you you'd go quick, right?
It did.
Keep in touch. We'd like to have you in it once again.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep promoting the women's game.
Absolutely.
All right, Julie
Appreciate
King,
it.
former professional player, now developing young minds and coaches.